everybody. What's up? I'm gonna wait to see who pops in, but we are live. All right. So let me get the word out to my peeps. All right. So let me get the word out. All right. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, brothers and sisters? What's going on? What's going down? What's happening? I wanted to take the time to do this is because this is going to be one of those videos that's going to be a little bit on the deep side. Did I say a little bit? I mean a lot of it on the deep side, right? But it really shouldn't be that deep. All right. It really shouldn't be that deep. The reason why this video is going to be deep for some people is, let's face it, we haven't studied a lot. All right. And because we don't study a lot, we are unaware of a lot of stuff, right? So one of the things I want to do, all right, one of the things I want to do is to break things down on this level here. I want to break things down on the level, this level of the lack of understanding based on misdirection. And I'll tell you what I mean by that in a minute. Real quick, if you can, please, if you can, go to your Facebook or whatever and connect with people. Let them know I'm live now. All right. And we need as many brothers on this one as we can get. All right. Some of these conversations just got to be had by the brethren. All right. Some of these conversations are going to be had by the brothers. We have to see things for what it is. All right. And we have to be reminded of things that we were meant to see, but it isn't what it is. All right. And I say that because of this. There was some time ago, okay, some time ago, y'all remember we were kind of running head and head, not bumping head, but we was kind of running head to head. All right. And remember, baptize a scribe. All right. We would talk a lot about these issues here. We would talk a lot about this. We would bring forth things that was going on from particular different perspective, using different books. But the message was yet and still the same. All right. And the reason why that message could be the same is that we kind of took on the same job of trying to warn the brethren as to things that were going on. All right. So we're trying to warn the brethren about things that were going on. A lot of people weren't trying to see it. And as time progressed, what we did was we separated we ignored what the real problem was. Some out of fear, some people out of fear, some people out of ignorance. All right. But the bottom line is that a lot gets ignored when we talk about what is actually going on with the community. And one of the main things we ignore is why the Afro community is so important The other ignorance in all of this is also that we forget that the Afro community, when we talk about this thing on a spiritual level, does not start and stop in the United States. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that we as Afro men make. We box ourselves in on things the same way we box the Most High in. We sit up here and we act like the Most High is a box that you check off. All right, so I want y'all to understand that we get turned around by things we should not get turned around by. All right, so before I get started on getting way into this, let me take a moment to just allow y'all to see some things. And I want y'all to have an understanding about what it is you see. All right. I want y'all to just take a look at this before we get started. And I want y'all to just pay attention to what you're looking at. All right. I want y'all to pay attention to what you're looking at. And as you pay attention to what you're looking at, all right, I want y'all to have an understanding as to what's going on, or I want to see how much of your understanding, or how much of the understanding you have as to what's going on. All right. So as we look at this, all right, as we look at all of this that's going on, I want y'all to pay attention to this. And let's just say this is current events. All right, this is current events. Tell me what you see. Tell me what you think. All right. I want y'all to understand something. All right. I want y'all to understand something. What you're looking at right now is a woman that dudes wanted to sleep with. All right. I looked at some of the commentary, a nightmare, somebody I wouldn't want to be with. Yet and still, because she is out there, popular. This is the get up. She was a witch. She's the witch in Pirates of the Caribbean. All right. So before I really get into this, let me say what's up, Dwight. Hey, what's up, David Bowman? All right. What's up, masculinity, one loyal king. All right. So before I really break all of this stuff down, all right, we are going to go into Revelation, and I want y'all to see what we're going to be looking at right away. And the reason why we're going to go into Revelation is that I want y'all to start looking at things. The reason, all right, pastors didn't want us reading Revelation. All right. 2, we were too ignorant to read Revelation. I'm going to call it how it is. We are too ignorant to read Revelation. You got to understand Revelations from the point of view of the person that was writing it. I made the comparison that the person that wrote Revelation was like the Eric Snowden that warned us about all the spying that was going on us by the government. They were warning us about the tricks that the government was using to manipulate us. All right, to do their bidding. That how all the stuff they came up with was not for our interest, not to make us a better people, but it was to control us. Well, people, that's the nature of religion. But that is not the nature of the Most High. The Most High required us just to follow the commandments. That's how we worship him. Treat one another well. That's in the commandments. Take care of nature. That's in the commandments. And do right by one another. And we will have a blessed life. We didn't need this extra being. Hold on for a second. This extra being that everybody said we needed was a myth. But our problem here is that our problem was, or is, that we don't pay attention to the wool being pulled over our eyes because we can't see past anything to understand that wool is being pulled over our eyes. So before we get into Revelation, because Revelation is talking about how the church is corrupt, and we'll break that down. And it defines it geographically. All right. So we'll break that down. All right. But first, y'all have to have an understanding. You have to have a starting point. What's up, Mentor OG? What's up, Antonio? You have to have a starting point where there has to be clear understanding of what something is not. All right. By understanding what something is supposed to be. All right. So there is a relationship that we have with the most high. That's what it's supposed to be. A relationship with the Most High, especially with the men of the chosen. That would be us the melanated. And anybody that is not good to us will suffer the consequences of not being good to us. That means that goes for the woman too, if she don't play her role. All right. So I want y'all to see this real quick and get an understanding.
Hello YouTube. This video is for Hebrew Israelites.
All right. This was a brother by the name of Usurping, and I think he went back to one of the islands. I forget which one it was. But I want you to pay attention to everything, and I want y'all to write stuff down, so because I'm not going to be flipping back and forth between, because I want to concentrate mainly on Revelation. But some of you may not know a lot of stuff he was about to point out. All right. And he used to watch my channel before he left. All right. So let watch his breakdown. And I love the way he did this. So pay attention.
This video is going to cause some consternation and some anger. My purpose is to shine the light of truth on the topic that is dividing the Hebrew Israelite community. I am taking verses from both the Old and New Testaments and pointing out the obvious. I want to start with a verse from the 14th chapter of Isaiah, verse 12.
14th chapter of Isaiah, verse 12. All right. Now, watch how he breaks all of this down. Oh, we're about to break down who he was really. All right. There's information that I had given you. So we're going to, the Flavians is going to be all mixed up in this. And so is Osiris. And all right, just pay attention. All right. But understand what he is, what the Jesus, the white Jesus that we come to know, what this scripture, these verses says he is not. All right. Now, let's go.
How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? I also want to read from 13 and 14. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, and I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahweh. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
All right. So I want y'all to understand something. Hey, what's up? Oh, we getting there. We getting there, Young Boy 24. Okay. So now we got a picture. We're getting the first picture. See, the church don't have you read Isaiah at all. They don't want you near the Old Testament, because the Old Testament is more ancient than the New Testament, right? And what separated us, the people of the Most High, from everybody else is we did not need an inanimate object as representation for the Most High. We understood the Most High was bigger than an inanimate object. We understood that the Most High was bigger than a man. So we didn't need a man to bow down to. We didn't need a man to speak on our behalf when we can speak for ourselves. Okay. What's up, Aranda Lee? Okay. So let's go on. Young boy, you're ahead of the game. Young boy 24, you're ahead of the game. All right.
I will also ascend above the heights of the clouds. And these are the key words. I will be like the Most High.
So Lucifer said he will be like the Most High.
We are now going to read from Revelation 20:16. I, Jesus, have sent mine angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, and the bright and morning star.
So the Flavians, the guy that's writing Revelation, is telling us that the Jesus, who's the bright and morning star, is the same as Lucifer, who is the bright and morning star of the Old Testament. Lucifer has angels, and by angels we mean mighty ones that serve him, and so they have the same thing. Now, I want y'all to understand something. It's like they gave, this is coded, but it's not really coded. It is coded so that people that actually follow the commandments would understand not to fall into this harlot religion. We're going to get into that. Okay? And it shows you who is in charge of this harlot religion. Oh, but there's more of a breakdown than this. But hold on, let's continue.
I want you to pay attention to two things. He is the offspring of a man, and he shares the same name as O Lucifer. So, what are his goals?
Hold on. Now remember, O Lucifer was given his name by the Most High. So why would the Son of the Most High have the same name as Lucifer? All right. So he's going to get into his goal. All right. Now, this is a different author, the author of Philippians, right? who was a traitor to the Hebrews. All right. Now, pay attention to what's in red.
In Philippians chapter 2, verse 5, let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. 2:6, who being in the form of God, thought it not robbery to be equal with Yahweh. And does the Most High say? What does the Most High say? Isaiah 42:8. I am the Lord, I am Yahweh. That is my name, and my glory will not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. 42:9. Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare before they spring forth. I tell you of them. Isaiah 45:22. Look unto me, and be ye saved, all the ends of the earth, for I am Yahweh, and there is none else. 45:23. I've sworn by myself, the word is gone out of my mouth in righteousness, and shall not return, that upon me every knee shall bow, every tongue shall swear.
All right, now let me freeze this right here. Now, the reason why I want to freeze this right here, because I think this is a good place to go into Isaiah, and we'll come back to Revelation 16. All right. Isaiah 42:8 and 42:9. Because I want y'all to see it this way. All right, so here's 42:8. He says, I am Jehovah, that is my name, and my continent I do not give to another. So the Most High did not turn over power to another person. All right. So I wanted you to see it with the name intact so that you can have understanding. All right. So you can have understanding. All right. This is what it looked like when you translate it closer to the older Hebrew text. It's not exactly. It's just close enough to make a difference. All right, now let's go into 45. Okay, let's go in where we are. Oop, I didn't mean to do that. Where are we?
So as you see, he is not giving his power. Every knee shall bow, every tongue shall swear.
Okay, I done did something. and remove this and come back to it. Oh, I know what I did. Closed it out.
Hello YouTube. This video, Isaiah 42, that is my name. Things are, look Yahweh, and there is none.
Okay, so let me give y'all 45 and 22 and 45 and 23. All right, I'm doing this for a reason. It's the same reason I type in caps. We're going to start with 45 and 11. That's what I wanted. All right, this is very important. 45 and 11. I really wanted y'all to understand how you do it. The baby shark clap. Okay, so here we go. All right. I do not give my esteem to another. So he doesn't give his power to another. He doesn't give his glory to another, right? All right. Now, here is something that is very, very significant that I want y'all to see. And I wanted y'all to see this because I don't think he covered it here. And that is this one. Declare and bring near and let them take counsel together. Who has announced this from of old? Who has declared it from that time? Is it not I, Jehovah? And there is no mighty one besides me. Understand this. There is no mighty one besides Jehovah. A righteous El and Savior. So who's the Savior? It's not Jebus. If you follow the Bible, as black folks like to say they do, then if you follow the New Testament, it is a completely different indoctrination created by the Catholics, created by, more specifically, Titus Flavian, when clearly in the Old Testament, the Most High says that he is the Savior and there is none other besides him. He doesn't speak at all in the New Testament. Not at all. Not one iota, not one little bit, not at all. All right?
45, 23. I've sworn by myself, the word is gone out of my mouth, in righteousness, and shall not return, that upon me every knee shall bow, every tongue shall.
So I want y'all to understand this. And so what they did, and I know this because as a musician, and I had a problem with this, and I used to believe it too, but as a musician, we had this song that we used to like to sing. Every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess that Jesus Christ is the Lord. All right. And the reason why we believed a lot of this stuff, because of music. All right. When Afro people make some music, all right, we can get you to believe what that music says. That's the power in music. That's why they cut out James Brown. That's why they stopped us from forming bands. A lot of, and they use music. If you notice, the music in churches became more materialistic, all right, and less commandment based. All right. So we went from freeing the slaves using music, right? Then we went to a deep spiritual base with music based on the commandments and doing right by one another. And then through the music, we are now at the point where we think that God should give us something because everybody's waiting on a blessing to come from out of the sky. All right. So let's look at these. A lot of people ain't going to want to hear this. I expect a bunch. I have, well, on my channel, I don't expect a lot of people that's going. I suspect that a lot of black people ain't going to want to know this. A lot of brothers will. So will the sisters. So 45 and 22 says, "Turn to the Most High and be saved, for He is El, and there is none else." The New Testament is a whole lie designed to draw our attention away from the Most High and the commandment. Why do you think the females are so out of control? The New Testament runs them and they run the New Testament. The New Testament caters to them because everybody is getting rich off of it. All right. All right. And then he said, "I have sworn by myself, and a word has gone out by his mouth, that every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess." Right? So this is everything that Jehovah is saying. Oh, we know this already, Youngboy 24.
So as you see, he is not giving his power or asking that we subjugate ourselves to any other but himself. It couldn't be any clearer.
Oh yeah, hold it. Let me put this up.
So I ask you,
Because feminism is destructive.
Is Yehoshua really telling you he is?
And so his final question is, who is Yehoshua in the New Testament? The writers. Who are the writers of the New Testament telling you that this Jesus person, and it's not Jesus? It is Isus, a combination of the Babylonian and Greek god, Isus. There was no J's. And so we talked about when the J's came into the alphabet. All right, keep this in mind. The J did not come into the alphabet until 1590. All right, so let me look at something since I want to be correct. We're going to look at what year the letter J was created. I can't remember if it was 1590 or 1540. What we do know is the French created it. Ah, 1524. Okay, so understand this. I want y'all to understand this breakdown real quick. I want y'all to understand this breakdown real quick. So that y'all can have some understanding. All right. And we don't research correctly. We don't look at what cannot be possible. All right. So the letter J was created in 1524. All right. And the French sold it to the English. I know that much. All right. So let's see. So it was created 1524. That's Wikipedia. We don't want to look in that. The English start publishing it in 1634. I said 1624, right? 1634. So the letter J was invented in 1524. The English bought it off the French in 1634. All right. And so there was no one. The reason why it is important, because no one, absolutely no one, could have been named just anything. And you will, and if you look at languages and stuff like that, you will find that there's no really just sound. It's silent in Spanish. They use it in French. It's kind of silent. Okay, and so basically, when y'all look at this, when you look at it, nobody before 1524 could have been named just anything. You heard? If you don't know, now you know. Again, let me repeat that. Nobody could have been named just anything before 1524. So if they effed up the name, think about this, people. If they got you running around saying a name that didn't exist and got you falling down on your knees for a name that did not exist when they said it existed, then why in the hell do you trust them in anything else that they have to say? I want y'all to think about that for a second. Oh, see, people ain't going to want to hear this. People are not going to want to hear this. All right. So I don't expect a lot of people to show up like usual. You know, I'll be banging around 50 people right about now. But yeah, they didn't want to hear this. And a bunch of these ignorant dudes don't want to hear this. All right. Now, let's see. Oh, J900, I missed you. All right. So, the cash cow. Let me tell you the significance of the Christian religion. It's a feminine-based religion. All right, what's up, CJ? It's a feminist-based religion that caters to the females while giving one particular man control over a bunch of people who has the power to destroy the families of the other men. All right. So I want y'all to understand this. All right. So this is, and so what's happening is, the deal was in this religion, you use the females to get the men there. Remember, they used to have the thing, hey, if you want to find a good woman, go down to the church. If you want to find a good woman, go down to the church. That's what they would tell you. All right, go this there where, and what we didn't understand is, even though the church kept the women kind of in order in church, when they got to the house, they was something else. All right, this is the reason, if you notice, that the women took the children to the church while the men stayed at home, because the men wasn't going to sit there and listen up under somebody. And the only time the men went to church was on Christmas, New Year's, Mother's Day, Easter, Mother's Day. Christmas, New Year's, Easter, Mother's Day. At no point did they ever give honor to men. And even though it was the women that was creating much of the harm and harlotry within the community, the men always got the blame. Why? The females are the cash cow. But that is the nature of the religion. All right. Now, here's something else about the religion. The nature of the religion is to allow, to constantly browbeat the men and allow the females to do whatever they want to do, with the promise that so long as they say some magic words to this Jeebus person, that they'll magically get to see the Father in heaven. Oh, yes, you know where I'm going. All right. Now, so if the letter J did not exist, and I don't know why a bunch of dudes don't do research, and I don't know why people don't make this connection. If the letter J did not exist past 1524, why do people still run around call this fictitious dude Jeebus? Now, let me say this. A lot of people will shadow ban and ignore my channel because it's the truth, and people don't want to know the truth. Why don't they want to know the truth? Because the problem that we have is, you had some of the young ones that were trained to be wicked by their mamas, right? And wickedness is paying off for them right now, and they don't want to change because their mama taught them the same thing the church taught their mama. You can do all the wickedness you want to do to people, and you don't have to repent scripturally. You can say, I'm sorry to a fictitious person, and somehow you think that the Most High, with whom you disobeyed the main commandment, thou shalt not have no other mighty ones before my face. You disobeyed that commandment, and you still expect him to bless you after you die. And then a lot of these people are finding out, and these females are finding out the hard way, they are not being blessed now. All right. Their only out is starting to go away slowly but surely. Their only out was the stupidness of us men. What I mean by stupidness, the stupidness of us men is that we kept trying to bail and give, as they say, the golden parachute to the women that was doing this wickedness, instead of letting the Most High do his job. We're supposed to separate from them. I keep telling you, we are not supposed to be involved with somebody that's in witchcraft. And if they refuse to come out of it, another word, it's the church they have to come out of. Oh, but we're going to get the revelation. Because it says, come out of her. All right. The Most High says, turn to him. And when he says turn to him, he means turn back to the commandments. But women don't like the commandments is because it puts everything back into balance. All right. Here's the thing. In your body, you have a salt water base that is a balance. You got osmosis, you got your membranes and stuff that maintain this balance, right? So you can't have, this is the equal argument, right? And we're going to look at something that if it was equal, you would be dead. If it was close to equal, you would be dead because it's out of balance. When we give you an IV, a saline IV, we're giving you a particular amount of saline. So it goes like this. You cannot have an equal weight of salt and put it in an equal weight of water. That is equal. Yes, it is equal. It is an equal weight of saline, equal weight of salt to equal weight of water. If we put that in you, you would die. Why? Because it's not balanced. The salt would overpower everything in your body and it would crenate all of the cells. What do I mean by crenate? In order for your cells, especially the red ones, to keep equilibrium, what will happen is it will give up all of its water content to try to get balance back because there is too much salt to water. And as it loses its water, as the salt suck out the water, it's like when you're sucking the air out of a balloon or a basketball, it shrinks. If it shrinks, it can't carry the oxygen molecule in its central palate. It shrinks until all your cells shrink and then you die. Because all the cells in your skin shrink, everything would shrink, trying to give water to that overly, but it's equal saline solution. It's a saline solution, but it's equal part salt in weight to equal part water. You just die instantly. And you'll shrivel up like a vampire at night. Okay, so what is the balance? It is 0.9%. 0.09% saline or salt to water. That's your saline mix. 0.09% of salt to the water. So when you look at a liter of water that we're putting in your saline solution, in that liter of water, there is 0.09%. That water is 0.09% salt. Why? Because that's the balance. That's the balance that it needs to be for your cells to stay puffed up. Because if you just use all water, think about this. If you just use all water and people have died from this, at frat parties guzzling down all this water or drinking too much water, then you have another problem. The red cells don't crenate, they expand. Why? Because the saline, there's an imbalance. Again, there is no salt outside the cells, and all the salt is inside the cells. So you have an unequal balance of salt inside the cells to salt outside the cell. So what does your cells do? They suck in water in that semi-permeating membrane. They suck the water in till they can create equilibrium. But if you drank too much water, they'll keep sucking the water into all your cells burst, and then you die. That's called balance. What's happening in the so-called Black community is the whole community is out of balance, is because the community is in a state of coochie worshiping, i.e. female worshiping. In other words, what they did was they created a religious system whereby through ignorance, the Afro men started to worship an idol. But they didn't think it was an idol because we're looking for a statue. We're looking for the scary pictures of demons. All right? We're looking for all of that. Hey, okay. And so while we're looking for all that, what's up, Maria? There it is, right? And that person didn't exist, but that's a combination of a Babylonian god mixed with a Greek god. Okay, so the community is out of balance because the female is not in her role, and the female is not in her role is because, and this is why we were more stronger before 1950 up to 1950 in the civil rights movement and the feminist movement. We were stronger because there was still balance, and a lot of men did not go to church to get indoctrinated, and a lot of sons were able to stay at home and work with the man. But when they gave the woman sole custody of the child, hey, simplified Texas Marine, when they gave the woman sole custody of the child, that was the worst thing that could have happened to a male child. Okay, now he's going to church and he's indoctrinated to give up his masculinity. All right. And not only is he indoctrinated to give up his masculinity, now the most important person in church is the females because they show up. Mary, because she's the mother of God. Think about this. So this woman went from being the mother of a human being to the mother of God because of the human being who totally usurps the Most High, because people didn't go back and read that the Most High will not give his esteem to another. All right. Now, let's start breaking some stuff down. Now, let me remind y'all, because this is important. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, because we're about to go into Revelation now, so that y'all can see that the guy that wrote Revelation saw what I see, and he's trying to warn us to get away from the Christian church in no uncertain term. And he's saying that it is female worship in no uncertain terms. And he's saying it the way the pilots would give the American officers a clue when he was caught that he's saying stuff under duress and things are coded, right? So as we go into this Revelation thing, all right, you're going to see the picture straight up. All right. So don't forget, if you like what I do for the community, My PayPal, me, and Cash App is in the description box. This Sunday at 11 Central, 12 Eastern, there will be a crypto class given by Brother Elijah. Okay. If you want information on that, my email, Nabi Crypto, is in the description box right below my PayPal, me, and Cash App. All right. So with that said, all right, and don't forget, share, like, subscribe. We're already commenting. All right. So now let's get into Revelation. There's a reason why they didn't want you to read Revelation alone. Okay. So as we get into it, and we're going to go to the 16th chapter and start there. All right. And I'm going to show you that the dude who wrote Revelation is trying to warn us of female worship. He's telling us we're worshiping another god. And he's telling us who created this god. All right. Now, when we go into this, we go into all the bowls, but I wanted to concentrate on one. Okay, this is it. 16:5. And I heard the messenger of the water saying, "You are righteous, O Yehovah, the one who is and who was and who shall be, because you have judged these, because they have shed the blood of set apart ones and prophets. You have given them blood to drink. They deserve it." So what they did, what the Most High did, was he bloodied the waters. All right. And he bloodied the waters because of what they were doing. Right. Now let's go to 16 and 11. He said, "And they blasphemed the Elohim of the heavens for their pains and sores, and did not repent of their work." So who did they go against? Elohim. How did they go against him? They didn't follow his commandments. So if you look in Revelations, more so than any other book in the New Testament, you got a lot of people sneaking in. You got this author sneaking in that this is all about Elohim. It is about Jehovah, not Jesus. Now, he'll throw Jesus in here to make sure that the Romans, well, are slick enough to put this in things, right? And how they use hermeneutics from the god Hermes to put the New Testament together with the Old Testament is they kind of made sure you didn't read the Old Testament the way you were supposed to. So you took line upon line, precept upon precept. You're not supposed to read it that way. It's a book. That's why it says the book of Job, the book of this. I'm reading from you from the book of Revelation. All right. So to understand Revelation, you just stay in Revelation because it's written by the same author. You don't go to Timothy about Revelation. You don't go to Jeremiah unless he's sourcing Jeremiah, which that's what Revelation is. It is the author sourcing the Old Testament. That's all the New Testament is the New Testament is sourcing the Old Testament to get you to leave the Old Testament alone. But Revelation is sourcing the Old Testament to tell you that the New Testament is BS. And it is telling you that the people that created the New Testament is full of BS. Oh, but it's going to tell you geographically who the people are that created the New Testament. Okay. And I saw coming out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophets, 3 unclean spirits as frogs. All right. So here we go. Let's go into 17. Now, Revelation 17:1. I'm going to put this up in here. I will show you a great horse sitting on many waters. All right. Why is it? Okay, so I know where I left off at. Okay, there we go. All right. Why is it? I want y'all to understand this. Why is it that when the Bible is referring to all this wickedness, they refer to it as a woman. All right. There's a reason for that. Why it is always a woman. And that's why we need to be on our job as men. With whom the sovereign of the word commit whoring, and the inhabitants of the word were made to drink with the wine of her whoring. Now, understand this. People had, let's go here. Hold on, let's skip down real quick, see what other people had to say. All right. All right. Hey, what's up, 180 on the rise? Hey, Scribe, hit me up on the email. It is I want it's 35, but I will send you his his Cash App if you have Cash App. If you have PayPal me, I can get it to his Cash App for you. All right, let me know what you have on that email for the crypto class, because everything dealing with the crypto class is going to be on that particular email. Hey, what's up, Daniel? Okay. No, he James Browning in the house. All right. All right, that's the thing for the crypto class. All right. All right. So here we go. We have the 7 messengers. All right. With whom the sovereigns of the earth committed whorings. All right. We have that. All right. So now let's get to the next one. All right. This one. The woman he sees with blasphemy. All right. Now, I want y'all to pay attention to this. Everything is always a woman because, like the people said, she is the first teacher of children. And out of corruption, anger, and everything else, a bad woman, and here we get to our topic. And there it is. All right. So, what we have here, okay, what we have here is, now let's keep this understood. You got some sisters that'll hold it down, right? But now you're going to get into the description of the woman. And this is what I want y'all to understand. This is the description of the woman. Drunk with the blood of the set apart ones, that would be us. Through slavery, the wars, the conquests, all right, through the genocide, the abortion of children over here in the United States, within the Black community, to where we're almost going extinct. All right. Now, they're starting to identify this woman. Okay, they're starting to identify this woman. Now, this is what I want you to understand. This is, understand this as something that was going on in this. Uh-oh, hit that in the wrong place. Hold on for a second. One minute. All right, so let's take a look at this woman. All right. Let's take a look at this woman. All right. And the reason why this is when we look at a bad man, we see him coming and we prepare. But a woman is subtle in how she corrupts. You've heard it said again. Man, I thought she really loved me till she took me to child support court. She said we was going to raise the child together until she took me to child support court. And this is why this is a lawless society. And what I mean by lawless, it is lawless. When you have unjust laws designed to target only one group of people, it's a lawless society. It's a wicked society, right? And so the ones that don't have to follow the laws will be as corrupt as hell. So that's why you got women that extort their children and stuff from the man. All right. Here is the mind having wisdom. All right. So to the wise people, the 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sits. And there are 7 sovereigns. 5 have fallen, 1 is, the other has not. And when he comes, he has to remain a little while. And the beast that was and is not himself also the 8th, and is of the 7th, and goes to destruction. And the 10 horns which you saw the sovereign, who have not yet received rain, but receive authority as to sovereign with the beast for 1 hour. Okay, now this dude was ingenious. Hey, Talafa Lava Soy Fua, my brother. Okay, now let's break something down. Okay. Now it explains to this. Because a lot of times, if you look at scripture, when they're telling you something, it'll explain it or when you look at Bible verses and you read just the author will explain what he means. So this thing here, he says that the waters which you saw where the horse sits are the peoples and crowds and the nations and tongue. So this thing sits in the midst of everything. All right, this woman sits in the midst of all peoples. All right, so 7 hills. Now, let me see. I'm going to look at something else. All right, now. All right, we're not going to go into that, but we're going to go back to here. So this place is the dwelling place of demons, right? All right. So read 18 and 1. So let me go here. I hate when this happens. All right, let me do it like this so that you see what I put in. All right, all right, and this is what I mean by the ignorance of people within the church, within our community, right? Our biggest problem is this: we have very little understanding of geography. So when I say that this beast, this harlot woman, sits on 7 hills, when I say that this dude is giving you a message, understand the message. But a lot of times we don't understand the message because we are ignorant as to what a lot of things mean. And we're ignorant because we were taught to be ignorant. Ignorance is bliss. So basically, I know that the Vatican sits on 7 hills. Or 7 mountains. So as you see clearly, the Vatican sits on 7 hills, 7 mountains. It is the only place on earth that is called the city of the 7 hills. When the guy was writing Revelation, these are the hills. The 7 hills of Rome. When he was writing Revelations, he wanted to geographically, with no holds barred, make sure that those who had the knowledge of geography, who would look into this, who would study, would see exactly who this woman is and where she sits. They knew the woman was a system, and the reason why it was called a woman, because it was a feministic system designed to get people back into female worship. Why? Because you can't have people like worshiping like the fatherland, because then that would mean the men and the sons would think logically. Those people are hard to conquer. But if you give everybody a feminist or feminine mentality, those people are easy to manipulate in their mind. Look at how weak I'm going to tell you how weak these dudes are. As y'all know, I type in all caps on all my stuff, especially when I'm making commentary, because I stand behind what I say, but I want people to see what I am saying. Hell, I want to see it too so I can make corrections. Like if I mistype something. Because, you know, they'll clown you on mistyping something just because you didn't see it. Right? You know how sorry a lot of these dudes are? They get hurt over seeing caps on Facebook. In other words, these dudes get hurt over seeing capital letters on Facebook, on YouTube. Man, why are you typing in all caps? Because whatever standard you made for all caps is BS. And I do what is comfortable for me and the people I want to see my stuff. So here are your 7 hills. Palatine, Capitoline, Aventine, Kalian, Esquiline, Kirina, now, Vimeo. That's who they're talking about. So in Revelation, when you go back, okay, so let's go back to the scripture. So when we go back to Revelation, it's naming all the things that the Roman Church did and all the religions that they corrupted throughout that time period. It's pointing out another thing too. They're ingenious in how they do these things. Very ingenious. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. I'll show it to you. So when we think of wickedness and what's going to be wicked and what we got to watch out for, one of the things we get jacked up is this. We think that this is going to be the problem. We're looking for the boogeyman to look like that. Why? This is the image that literally the church gave us. The Catholic people came up with this image. And why did they come up with this image? They came up with this image to take us, to get us looking somewhere instead of in a more subtle place. Like they said, we're looking for evil to look like this, announce itself. Oh, we're looking for this. All right, we're looking for the demons to look like this. All right. But at the end of the day, what's happening, especially in the Afro community, because we are the people they're trying to corrupt. They're not trying to corrupt people they already have. The Afro men are the ones they're trying to corrupt. Why? Because the world follows our lead. The only people that don't follow the lead of good Afro men are the boys that are raised by the BW. Now, again, I say this. A lot of dudes, a lot of so-called black men saw this and was attracted to her and wanted to hit. Talking about, I hit that. Just the way this is. They was like, oh yeah, I wanted to, I just the way this is. Now you're starting to see the problem. So insidious where there was their elevation of the BW above all good, to the point that she could do no wrong even while she's in the throes of wickedness. So crafty were they to do this that we are now in a situation where we're going extinct because this is killing off many of us and aborting off what she doesn't kill. She's raised a bunch of possessed people that think nothing to take out another Afro man, but trained them in such a way that they don't go at the Caucasian police or man with the sheer veracity as they do another good Afro man. They are leaving the church in droves because they are not getting what they want in the church. All right. They are leaving the church in droves because they're not getting what they want out of the church. What they wanted out of the church was the ability to control men. But the only way to control men in the weak church is to get them to go there. So now the guys are waking up and they're like, oh, we ain't going to have no part of it. And so now these women want to go into a more direct form of manipulation. And so they're leaving the church and going to witchcraft, because even they are not fulfilled because they have no control and they're not happy in their new place as the chief of the home, the chief of everything. So this is why you have stories like I put up earlier of women committing an exercising, doing an exorcism on their child or children, as if the children, and we look at this all the time, and you will still have these soft, moist-minded dudes that will try to cape for this and not stand up to it. But I think this is a message from this is, I wouldn't say a test, but the Most High is letting you know who his are, because there's a lot of us brothers that will stand up to this. We are not going to be voice walking into accepting some foolishness. We're only supposed to accept women under two conditions: that who has a child, the child's a bastard, meaning the dude hit and skipped out. Not that she was laying around with a bunch of things. He hit, skipped out, no child support, no nothing. He hit and disappeared right after he made the baby. That happens a lot outside of the United States, where women get into that romantic situation thinking they got a husband. But inside the United States, it don't happen like that. You have women looking for dudes that they think have money so they can get the bag, secure the bag, get the check. All right. This is a new TV show. Sex and Demonic Possession, created by Black women. I want y'all to understand this. This is what we have in the community. When we say that they are on this plantation and they had one job, and that was to keep the righteous men on the plantation, and then they lost control of that, so all they got left is the weak men to stay there, and their last ditch effort is to get the weak men to try to shame the righteous men, but that isn't even working, because the righteous men are calling out the weak men from being weak, going after men. We're the low-hanging fruit. Nobody's afraid to go after us because there's no legal repercussions for it. All right? Because no one wants to protect the actual good. We have some good sisters, and we have to find them and protect them, because they will swallow them up. And so that's where you come up with, we got to save ourselves from the queens of Babylon, brothers. All right? This is what we're not seeing. All right? We're looking for the big scary monster in the room, not understanding that the monster kind of look more like us and don't have horns. It might have weave, long eyelid. It has a uniform. It has a uniform. Just not the uniform we suspected. See, we're running around looking for a particular type of monster. Okay? We are running around looking for something that looks like this, you know, just announcing itself as the big baddie. That's what we're looking for. But little did we understand that the Philistines understood it with Delilah. If you want to destroy the good man, you get him to succumb to the wiles of the wicked woman. All right. Everybody that has a part in destroying the seed of us, the good man, everyone that has come after the men trying to be righteous and good, and not good as in high value like the Kevin Samuels good, that's not good. That's high corporate value. All right. We're talking about good. The one that treated their women right, the ones that wanted to raise children, good like that. All right. These women, in order to make us docile, because they knew this. Here's the thing. Let me say this. The women that go to church do not believe in following the commandments of the Most High. You could argue they don't believe in God. They don't believe in what they read, because if they did, they wouldn't go to church. They would follow the lead of a man, right? Except they don't look for the man that's really going to read and study. They look for somebody that the church can manipulate to do what they want to do, what makes them feel comfortable. All right. And so oh yeah, so you know what I'm talking about, Mahir. You know what I'm talking about. And so the 10 crowns on them 7 horns are all the land that they gave power to up in Europe at the time. All right. And so people don't understand that this man is trying to tell you in history that the religion that these people created, that Titus Flavian created, Christianity, is a harlot religion designed to weaken men through the children and the women, to the point where you got to sleep. If you get a wife, you got to sleep with one eye open. All right. And so, yeah, these clowns. Yeah, always when you typed in capital letters, it was to emphasize and you wanted the stuff to be seen, especially on small devices. But let the clowns be clowns. All right. Yes. All right. The imagery of, so this is what you got. You got Hollywood working with the church. All right. You got the scandal with the priests. And remember, if they destroy us sexually, where we're not producing children, being fruitful and multiply, they're hoping they get rid of us so that the Most High won't have anybody that worships him. They think that by then that will give them power. Exactly. So here's the thing. So a lot of what's going on is this. People don't want to hear stuff that is true. You got a lot of these moist-minded dudes that are too weak to call out these women. What's worse yet, you got a lot of dudes that won't call them out because they would rather sleep with them in their wickedness, right? So that they could say they hit. What's worse than that is they measure their manhood by who they slept with, rather than actually being a man. You see what I mean? And why do they measure things by who they slept with rather than being a man? Because they idolize, and when we say idolize, idolatry, the female. And worse than that, they don't even idolize the whole female. They idolize two things, and not even the thing that gave them sustenance as a child. And I don't even know where in the hell that this come from. But when, and I don't, somebody tell me, when did we start making the butt more important than the breasts? The thing that fed us is now less important than the thing that everybody has, men and females. And you got a lot of them dudes coming out of jail, going in on a woman that way, the way they would go in on a man. But these women can't figure out why only they are the fastest growing HIV population, and it's not growing in the men like that. Well, when you're only sleeping with about 8% of the men, that's kind of what happens. You understand? And so basically, this is why I kept saying you would have to leave and get somebody with a sense of some kind of spirituality, in that they see the man for his position that it's supposed to be. And this is why I say this. With the exception of witchcraft, it doesn't matter if the woman has a religion or not. What matters is if the woman follows the lead of the man. If the woman will submit to a man. Again, let me repeat that. It doesn't matter if the woman has a religion or not. The last thing you want her to be is these formalized Pentecostal Baptist Christian-y kind of women. You need to leave them alone because they think they're right. But you want a woman that just really don't know, but will follow a man because that's the right thing to do. Period. Now, this is how this works. This means that if you are a man that actually follows the commandments, then the commandments will be how your house goes. Period. Because women understand that that's not tied to a religion. They understand commandments. They understand the presence of the Most High. And they understand the presence of the Most High when the Afro man has it. Exactly, young boy 24. The Most High will not bless any woman that tries to usurp authority over a man. Let me repeat that. The Most High will not bless any woman that tries to usurp authority over a man. And why? Because his command to the woman was, the man rules over you in the garden. Said and final. That's it. End of the day. Stick a fork in them. They're done. And if they cannot follow that, which most BWs don't want to follow, that's why there's getting involved in witchcraft and all of that stuff, because their scheme of manipulation is not doing well for them. And why isn't it doing well for them? Because a lot of the men are starting to wake up and they don't even understand why they're waking up. It's the spirit in them that says that something is extremely wrong and way out of balance, like the salt in the water. These women want to be equal to us, but that's not balance, like the salt in the water. They're not playing their role, and they're not in their role the way they're supposed to be. So, because they're not in their role, it's killing off everybody else. So, what do you do when you got too much salt? You find a way to get the salt back down to where it's supposed to be. Or in this case, you leave the solution alone that is now ruined by the salt. Okay, so Aranda Lee, the reason why there is so much corruption and lie in this world, because they take pleasure in it. If you look at the thing and what it said about the woman, the harlot of Babylon, they take pleasure in this corruption. Corruption, they think, gives them an easy life, but none of them are actually happy in the life. And they become a prisoner in that life that they've chosen. They're really not free. And there's the other one, masculinity. They are trying to hurt the Most High by harming the men and boys. But instead of harming the men and boys, which they're doing that, they have corrupted themselves to where now they have to pay the most heavy price. Because now the good men don't want them. The bad men, they wanted them for a while, but now that the bad men can't do anything for them, they're not happy with them, forgetting that they're the ones that created the bad men and chose the bad men. Right? And so they gotten past their shelf life, and they're starting to spoil, wanting somebody to take them into their twilight, but there is none. Not only this, now they are starting to look more undesirable than any other group of women in the world. And why? It is because of that spirit. So there's a spirit on them that is starting to make them look undesirable. So much so that you got brothers getting passports and leaving them alone and would rather be with anything than them. And it's gotten to this point that the brothers don't even care what they look like. All right. That's right. So what's happening is the community is out of balance. And the reason why I use the saline solution, all right, the reason why I use the saline solution and how it affects our blood, because we are made up of sodium, right? We are made up of salt and water. And when I talk to you about the cells crenating, if you had too much salt and shriveling up, causing you to die, and if you just have too much water, then the cells try to drink in all the water to reach equilibrium. But if it can't reach, it won't stop drinking until it either dies or reach equilibrium, which means you kill off your balance. It's all about balance. But what happens is when something cannot be balanced, it's dead. Like the Dead Sea, nothing lives there. It's too salty. Nothing can live there. And so as it was getting more and more salty, probably because of the sun dissipating the water and all the stuff that it had in it. All right, its specific gravity started to get higher and higher. So what happens is all the things that wanted life. Dang, I'm glad I used the salt thing. All the things that wanted life understood that it had to leave that body of water. When we look at the so-called Black community now, it is like the Dead Sea. It is too salty. And the brothers are like the life forms that understand, the righteous brothers are like the life forms that have the understanding that if you want life for you and your offspring, you must leave that body of water alone. It is too salty. And there's nothing that can be done now to get it back to equilibrium. Because all the elements that this body of water accepted in, dissipated more water, more of the water, more of the good water, more of the good water, and until it became overly saturated with salt and wasn't good for any good life. Now, there are some bacteria that live in salt. Thank you. Lysis, your cell lysis. That's the word I was trying to think about it. Yeah, your cell lysis. So I was right, 0.09%. I had to make sure to have that 0.9. Some of the times I put 0.9%. I was like, oh no, that'll kill you. Yeah. So yeah, we talked about this earlier. about creating your cells and stuff like that. There's other stuff. I was a lab tech all my life. All right. So basically, that's what the Black community has become. It has become like the Dead Sea. And righteous brothers understood that there's no life there anymore. And that it is too salty, and that salt will draw the spirit out of you and keep drawing it out till you're spiritually dead. Because it ain't nothing but a high concentration of salt. It is out of balance. And you start to realize, oh, I can't balance these women. They are so out of balance, you can't balance them. Now, you might find a few, but that's the question. Would you find the few? Because it's so few compared to how many that have gotten this toxic. And remember how they're training their daughters. All right. So you would have to leave that body of water and go to other bodies of water to find someone suitable to create offspring that will worship the Most High with you. Period. But you have to leave that body of water alone because it is too damn salty. All right. And they don't understand that. When I showed you that picture, I put it up for a reason. Because I wanted y'all to understand that even a lot of the dudes in the so-called community are so lost that they wanted the F, that they saw that as very attractive. One dude said that he would F the dreads off that woman. I'm going to tell you something. I watched an adult movie or two in my day. And the thing that made me stop, there were just certain ones I wasn't going to watch or anything like that. But the thing that made me stop is I saw a dude do something so nasty that it makes me sick to this day to think about how nasty it was. All right. And that's exactly what I'm saying now, that these dudes raised with no modicum of spirituality are so debased and nasty that in this so-called community that is so salty, not even the dudes are worth anybody. It's just one toxic mess on another group of toxic mess. And it is so horrific. The idea is so horrific that it's really not worth it to try to see if you can make something out of the group, because you can't. It is that far out of balance. This is why our patriarchs left their communities to find wives elsewhere. All right. Even when Joshua was conquering, they took the righteous women, like Rahab, the prostitute, yes, was the righteous woman. All right. But they took the righteous woman, one that can follow the lead, one that honors men. See, that's what makes a woman righteous. Woman righteous is her ability to honor a good man. How many can we say have that quality in our community? And when I say honor, I mean submit to a righteous man. And even when a lot of these women are talking about submitting now, they're not talking about submitting to a righteous man. They're still looking for a thug to submit to. Because, you know, they say it. They can't help who they can't help who they love. They look for that thug or that thug quality man, because to them, still, they're looking to submit, but not a right to a righteous man. They're looking for that thug quality. And then they're not looking to fully submit. All right. That's how toxic and salty these waters are in the so-called Black community. It is the Dead Sea. All right. So we spend time looking for this to be wary of. We keep telling ourselves that that is what's going to be the problem. We keep looking, we be like, oh yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem we're going to have to deal with. And as we look for that as the problem, we don't understand the power of the real destruction being the BW. All right, because we're looking for something else to be the problem. And the whole time we're looking for something else to be the problem. The problem ends up being this. For us, of the four horsemen, for us, this would be death. And I'm serious. This would be death. We're talking about the four horsemen. Why do I say that? Remember, we are going extinct as a people because of abortion. What is abortion? Is death to the unborn. We're not reaching replacement, population replacement, meaning that for each person that dies, somebody replaces them. All right. We're supposed to be fruitful and multiply. You can't do that one man to one woman, but that's what the Caucasians gave us. Why did they give us that? Because they were not interested in us multiplying and becoming strong, building our own communities, having our own political power. All right. We can't maintain 2 children per 2 parent, because with all the stuff killing us in the Afro community, the thing that's doing the greatest job to us is abortion. Because with all the heart disease, black on black crime, accident, first of all, accidents kill more people than black on black crime. All right, so let's get that out the way. All right, accidents kill more people than black on black crime. All right, but at the end of the day, well, here's the thing. We might have been able to survive the 80-20 rule if on top of that and all the rest of the stuff, that you got the 80-20 rule, and that's killing us. So these women, but here's the thing, the problem with the 80-20 rule is we can still leave. Only we just figured that out late in the game to leave these women alone, because we've always been conned into staying on the community, staying on the plantation. But abortion kills more of us than all other stuff combined. But if that's killing more of us than all of the stuff combined, think about this. If it's doing that, then that means all other stuff is killing us, and we have nothing to replace it, and we can't even replace it with a new life. This is how bad this stuff is. All right. This woman, people say, was demon possessed. This woman, people say, was demon possessed. She decided she's going to do an exorcism on her children. Where did she get exorcism from? The Catholics. She was watching movies. Catholics. That's a Catholic procedure. All right. This woman, like many other like her, prey on the weak, the children. And they do it because they get the aid, because they specifically look for it. They get the aid of a bunch of moist talent-minded dudes that co-sign on all their BS. Well, it's a woman's body, her choice. No, it is never your choice. It is only your choice because the government gave you permission to do what is otherwise illegal for everyone else to do. Because it's morally reprehensible. And this is something I didn't understand. I was friends with another sergeant while I was stationed at Ellington Field. And this sergeant had much respect for me, and he would talk to me about this. And I didn't see how significant it really was then until I started looking at what Black men think. It was a documentary around 2013, 14. When I started really getting into statistics as to what's going on with the Afro community. Because what I thought was wrong was based on what females was telling me was wrong with the community. And I was lied to the whole time. So I had to smart myself up. So I had to do my own research. Come to find out that all the stuff BS that the females were saying on TV wasn't research. It was their feeling based on the people that they liked and wanted, but could not control. All right. And so I started to understand that. Then this 80-20 rule. And I was like, wow, okay. And then I started looking at the degradation of the community, and all the way up to the modern day where things continue, but the lies continue. And you think with all the data coming out and with people putting it up on Facebook all the time, that these talent-minded dudes would listen sooner or later, but they don't. And you have to ask yourself, why won't they listen? Oh, they won't listen because the sea is too salty. The Black community is the Dead Sea. And no amount of water that you try to pour on it, knowledge that you try to pour on it, can bring back life to those that didn't want to learn in the first place. So the best thing for righteous dudes to do is to leave it alone. Only then can we build something new. Our own enclaves, our own community. This is a community. All right. Like-minded brothers. I am able to do what I do in the favelas and with children and come up with the ideas to do more because of the donations that have been coming from you brothers. We got a dude that's about to teach a class that brothers have, we decided we was going to do what's scripturally proper. If he's going to teach it, we're going to give, a laborer is worthy of his hire. Okay? So we understood that. We understand that. So we're acting like brothers. We're acting like people that actually read the commandments. But I will say this. None of the dudes that are critical of this channel, none of the females that are critical of this channel have donated a dime knowing that this channel helped children. Not only that, when you look on Facebook, these dudes don't even go and look to see what somebody's about. Period. They make assumptions, but they don't see what somebody's about. And why? Because if they did, it would make them look stupid that where they were critical on somebody, like somebody that says, well, what are you doing in the community? And you got all these Facebook posts, like, because they'll go look at a female in a bathing suit. They'll go look at a female twerking on Facebook. Female say something, they'll go and look and see if she's twerking. Not because they're trying to find out anything. They just want to see her twerk because that's what gets them off. But that's the nature of what the community has turned out to be. All right, that's the nature. Okay? Mila's pro. Okay. Oh, okay. Asegúrate de acumular las millas de tu próximo viaje. Kelly. Para mí. Lo siento, para mí. Okay. That is the woman that that you saw. Remember the video that you saw? Oh, it's on the other channel. This is a woman who tried to exercise 2 of her children, injured 2 more. All right, saying that her children were demon possessed, and she ended up that people think that she was demon possessed. So she killed 2 of her children, wounded the other 2. Now she had all these choices, all these children from her choices. All right. So that's basically it. It was her choice to have these children. And it's the children that had to pay for her choice. All right. So with that said, brothers, let's see. That's what I want. I'm gonna open these last few minutes up to Kelly, tú quieres hablar con ellos. All right. So the thing is up. If somebody has any other scripture to add to this, hold on. Any last thing to add? Oh yeah. All right. Anybody have anything else to add? All right. So there's the link right here. So it's up here. So click on it if you wanted to get a piece in edgewise. All right. And if you click that, don't forget to have your microphone and camera accepted. It's easy. It's easier on the cell phone though, because I think it automatically does it. But it'll still ask you to accept that. Yes, poor children indeed. All right. So anyway, so poor children indeed. All right. We look for the devil in a pitchfork and don't realize that the demon possessed can look as plain as the BW next door. All right. So with that said, y'all, I'm out. Thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to share this video. Share the rest of my videos. I have another one up explaining her story. Let me see something real quick. So I have a video up already. All right. That was the precursor to this one. But it really nails home what's going on with a lot of these females from at least two perspectives. So to the other video, it's up right now. I just put it up like just before this one. All right. So I just put it up for this one. And so this is the link. Just look at it. It'll be before this one. All right. So I'm out. Peace, love, and soul. All right. Thank y'all for stopping by. All right, and don't forget to share these videos on Facebook, Instagram, however you share them. All right, so, and hey, brother Jamal, I'll make sure I get that get the links that you need or something. Oh, you probably sent me an email, so I'll holler at you on that front about the class on Sunday at 12 o'clock Eastern time, 11 o'clock Central. The class is Sunday, 12 o'clock Eastern time, 11 o'clock Central on Zoom. So download Zoom to your computer or go to the Google Play Store or whatever and download Zoom and register it. All right, so do that now. All right, so with that said, people, I'm out.